Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And a Merry Christmas Eve to everyone who celebrates.
Merry Christmas Eve.
It's so exciting.
We've made it.
We've done the entire Advent calendar. It's absolutely insane. We stuck to it. It was not nearly as messy as March Madness.
Yeah, that was a mess I don't think we'll be doing again. But this, I think we'll be doing again next year.
I think we'll have to do it again. It was so much fun. So today, Alex and I are going to be talking through the conclusion of our Advent calendar countdown. And I am really excited to hop into it. So where we left off, we had done some gift exchanges. And we're now at December 18th. Alex and I did exchange gifts on the 18th. So I received a manga called I Don't Know How to Love. This is one that I have walked past in the bookstore several times. And I was like, it's a standalone manga. It looks precious and I love it. It looks like a grumpy sunshine. And then I never bought it for myself because I get distracted. And I've been trying to be good and I'm terrible at it. So now I have it.
Very exciting. And I bought it for all of those reasons as well. So
yeah.
Happy Advent. I got a manga as well. This one was Touch Within the Abyss, which I was not familiar with, but the cover is gorgeous. And we all know that I judge books by their covers. So I am pretty excited about this one. It looks like it could be heartbreaking.
I have heard heartbreaking.
Yeah. Fitting.
So I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to see. But moving forward to the 19th, Alex and I did have some reading assignments for one another. So I'm going to go ahead and start out talking about mine, hopefully so that I can, keep the happy vibes going after this. It's kind of going to be a sad one. For today, I was assigned to read I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. This is a manga that I picked up explicitly because the name. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But this story is written by Yori Sumino and it is published by Seven Seas. It's actually a completed version that I have, so it's all in like a single volume, but there were several different volumes when it was originally released. But if you can get it as the completed set, then it's 434 pages for the entire thing. This story broke my heart into a billion pieces, and it opens up with our male character saying that he stayed home from his classmate's funeral. Mm-hmm. I'm calling him male character because at this point in the novel, and for the majority of the novel, you do not know the male lead's name.
Which is kind of surprising.
So it is a choice, and I'll kind of get into why I think they did that here soon. But truly, out of the 434 pages, you do not learn the main character's name until page 399.
Yeah.
So it opens up. Our male character says he didn't go to the funeral and that he is in a grieving process. But something that's really eating at him is that he doesn't feel like his classmate got his last message to her. Mm-hmm. And you don't really understand what the context is at this time, but his last text to her was, I want to eat your pancreas. And my initial thought was, I don't think she would have wanted to receive that text message. But as you go through the story, you do kind of come to understand that it was somewhat of a special message between the two of them. So the story follows the past leading up to the funeral services. And you find out that our male lead had his appendix out, and when he was at the hospital waiting to be discharged, he actually found a journal sitting on a waiting room seat. And when he went to open it, he saw that it was a book called Living with Dying. And the person who comes to get the book from him is named Sakura Yamaichi, and she is a classmate of his. Mm-hmm. And so he's a little confused as to why she has a handwritten journal called Living with Dying. And he was gonna pretend like he didn't see it, but it was pretty obvious he was reading the journal as she walked up. So he very quickly realizes that his classmate is dying of a pancreatic disease. And she's been going into the hospital for treatment. And when she realizes that he knows, she has a very interesting reaction. And she's like, oh, what a relief. Like, that's so cool that you know now. Because she's not planning on telling anyone else. Her
Poor guy.
family knows, and now he knows, and they are not close.
Yeah.
Like, they know of each other relatively. So he's really confused why she's happy about this. He hands her the journal back. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll pretend like I didn't see anything. And she starts explaining that it's actually a huge relief because she doesn't want to break the heart of people who already know her. Mm-hmm. So she plans on just living out everything normal until her time comes. And her family knows, but she feels like every time they look at her as some sort of, dying person. And she just feels like she doesn't have any normalcy in her life. She has no one she can be transparent with and talk about these things with, just easily. So she's like, you know what? You can be that person for me. And he's like, I never asked for that. You can keep me out of it. But she doesn't. She starts approaching him at school. She starts treating him like a real life friend. And, in their normal conversations, she starts to trickle in, like, have you ever been romantically interested in anyone? Maybe. And he's like, no. Doesn't even entertain it. And she just laughs it off. But she's finding it very comfortable to be friends with him, which is surprising because they are polar opposites. Mm-hmm. She just has this sunny disposition, and he watches her knowing what she's going through, and he's just mystified as to how she can put that face on for people, because when he's seeing her, she does the same thing for him, and he's like, there's no way that can be genuine. Like, she has to be hurting or she has to be sad, but he never sees that come across. Mm-hmm. So you really start to see the male lead change as a person throughout the entire series. The way that he sees it is like, she's weird. I don't trust that that's how she feels. And then he starts to kind of understand in spending more time with her that she's doing it because she also doesn't want to pity herself and she wants to feel normal. And that's the only way she can do it. Like, she, of course, isn't feeling well. She's doing it for the benefit of other people to not make them uncomfortable being around her, but also she's doing it for herself because it's the closest she can get to convincing herself that things are okay.
Yeah.
So they go and they do a bunch of different things. She's like, it was on my bucket list to go and eat at this dessert buffet, which sign me up. And they go to actually a lot of buffets. He does make a note of this. He's like, Jesus, this girl can eat.
Same.
But, yeah. Sakura's a girl after my own heart. I think where things really start to take a turn is we do have our male lead who agreed to go to like this trip with her. She was like, oh, I've always wanted to go to this place. And he's not really paying attention to what she's saying. And this trip that she's taking him on is like a train away. They're in high school. Like, they're not supposed to be leaving their houses without their parents' permission. And they do. They just go and like skip town on a train together. She paid for a hotel room. Like, they went and did all of these different things, prayed at a shrine. And the male lead feels very out of his element, but also has really started to grow an attachment to her because he's not really close with anyone else. And you see him at the shrine kind of praying. He's like, I really wish that her pancreas wouldn't be hurting her right now.
Yeah.
Like, I really just wish she was better. And you can tell he's starting to feel the loss before he's lost her. He's like, how rude that I get to meet this person who is genuinely becoming important to me, and I don't get to keep her. So they continue through their trip, and they even go to the back to the hotel, and they start drinking with each other, and they start playing truth or dare. And this is where you really start to see Sakura's resolve fading as well, because as they're drinking, she becomes a bit more melancholy, and her last truth that she gets asked, or that she gets to ask to the male protagonist, she says, what would you do if I told you that I was scared of dying?
Aww.
And he goes, never mind, give me a dare. And he chickens out of it. And so she dares him. She's like, just sleep in the same bed as me. Like, don't sleep on the floor or whatever. So they go back to the trip, and pretty immediately once they get back, obviously their parents are pissed that they did this, but her parents take it pretty easy on her, which she chalks up to, I guess there are some perks to being a dying girl. You know, your parents won't get mad at you. But she's really started to push this, like, do you see me romantically? Are you interested in me? Are you interested in anyone? am I pretty, you know, and kind of
Yeah.
pushing this. And the male lead refuses to entertain it. He's like, yeah, you're pretty. You're maybe like top 3 of the class or whatever. And tries to play it off. But as the reader, you can see that it's definitely him being more protective of his own feelings.
Yeah.
So you also see that Sakura's friends are very uncomfortable with her just randomly being friends with the male protagonist. You see that the redacted name that shows up, their like weird classmate Kun, is they're like, why are you hanging out with him?
Mm-hmm.
And her very closest friend actually very explicitly hates him, not for really any good reason other than why did you take a trip with her and stay in a hotel with her? And did you defile my best friend?
Yeah.
And, you know, never mind Sakura completely debunking all of it, but Kyoko's very protective of Sakura. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
So once they get back, it's not very long before Sakura actually goes into the hospital. And she's there for a few weeks. They said that some of her numbers were off. And you do see the male protagonist going and visiting her like every single day after school. And she's teaching herself magic tricks. She's just kind of keeping up that sunny demeanor. But he can tell by the length of the stay in the hospital that something's not right. Like there is a significant shift in how this is going to go. And so he decides, he's asking her like, are things actually okay? And she's like, of course they're fine. I would tell you, but can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And it's not how their relationship has been. And so he's starting to pick up on all of these warning signs. And he's not liking it very much. He's also feeling like they've grown further apart now because he feels like, okay, you're actually blatantly hiding something from me. I feel like you had to have gotten some news. Something is impacting, you know, your mood and the way that you're feeling and the way that you're interacting with me. It feels like you're trying to protect my feelings. And we said we weren't going to do that. So, you know, they just keep kind of playing around. And he's trying to keep her spirits up. And early on in the story, they had a conversation while they were working as library aides at school where she tells him that she read a book about this very specific group of people that they, like in their culture, if they find out that they have an organ failing, then they find the reciprocal organ in an animal and they consume it. And it's supposed to have healing properties in, you know, resolving whatever issue they're going through with their organs. And so they make multiple jokes to each other just at different times, you know, kind of mentioning that, you know, this is like, oh man, it would be nice if I could eat a pancreas. Maybe I could just eat your pancreas, haha. And you do see that, like, as she's getting discharged from the hospital, the male lead is really struggling on what to send to her. She's really excited that she's getting to go home. They have plans to go and see each other. And the male protagonist sends, I want to eat your pancreas, because you get to see his thought process. And he's like, I want to take that pain away from you. I would eat your bad pancreas if it meant that you weren't hurting. Mm-hmm. So he's excited to see her. And he's just like, oh my gosh, this is like an overwhelming feeling for me. And she doesn't ever get the text message because she doesn't end up making it home. I have already gone through most of it, so I'll probably just tell you what happened. Unless you don't want me to.
No, don't tell me because I am borrowing this one from you.
Okay, so I am going to stop there because you're borrowing it from me. And there is a lot that's packed into the end of the story. It also is a little easier on me because that's the part that made me cry the most. So not having to talk through that is going to be good for me.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved this story. It broke my heart into a billion pieces and maybe put a couple of them back together at the end. But I know that you'll like this one.
I'm so glad that you loved it. I just picked this one because I thought the title was interesting.
Yeah.
So
there are just so many interesting elements to this story. Like the male lead, like you just get to see the growth that he has in how insignificant he felt, to the point that he redacts his own name from the retelling of the story, to seeing like how he's grown and how he sees himself and other people. It is just such a beautiful story. And I am really excited for you to read it.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. So on the 19th, I also got a story assigned to me, and I'm a little mad at you on this one. Because it is so good, and it's a spinoff, and the original that I really, really, really want to read is nowhere to be found in English. How dare you?
You look beautiful today.
The thing that I loved about this one is that it's just cute, adorable, funny fluff. Mm-hmm. The story in the prologue, though, is really interesting, and I really want to read it. So I'm hoping someday that Dream Maker, which is the original story, does come out somewhere that we're able to read it. Yeah. It says it's a light novel, so I'll take it in a novel. I'll take it in a comic. Maybe I'm going to have to learn Korean.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
We'll see.
Maybe our entire next year is just doing Duolingo. I'm trying to figure out how to translate.
This becomes a language podcast.
So we can barely speak in English.
This is true. This one is about Young-woo Baek and Soo-yoon. And they are the most precious, adorable couple ever. I absolutely love them. Young-woo he's like a seer, and he can take your dreams and replace them with his own. Mm-hmm. And so he gets into kind of a contractual relationship with Sua and to take his bad dreams from him. And then throughout that, they do end up getting close and developing an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
So this story is all about that relationship. And we start off, we have Young-woo is talking to Sua's assistant, Secretary Song, mm-hmm. and he's saying, I need you to find me a building that I can do secret tarot readings in and palm readings. And he's like, I got you. We got this. And so they get him a temporary building to do these readings from. And right away, things are just not going well. There's construction outside. Someone has given out $1 coupons, so he's making absolutely no money from this venture. And you very quickly find out that Sua is like stalking him and watching all of this and being like, good, he's failing, which is funny.
Yeah.
So Young-woo wants to get Sua a gift, and that's why he's doing this. But Sua doesn't know that. So he's like, why are you trying to read other people's futures? Also, why are you trying to make money without me knowing? There are problems here.
Yeah.
And Young-woo, I love Young-woo. He's like, you can tell that he's in control completely because he gets mad and he's like, I was trying to get you a gift and you've ruined it. And then he just like storms off and Sua's like, no, what do I do now? And it's so cute. After this, he finds a cat. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, I want to take this cat home. So he does end up taking the cat home. They find out the cat is pregnant. And they have to keep the cat now because Young-woo's like, I need to keep this cat. I'm not getting rid of a cat that's pregnant. He also looks at the cat's dreams and sees that the cat has had it really rough. Yeah. Like was abandoned, has had bad interactions with other cats, has been, not treated well by other humans, left in the rain. And so he's just like, I can't leave this poor cat, especially when she's pregnant. So the greatest thing in the entire world happens after this. Kind of fortunately, unfortunately, Young-woo starts acting like a cat because of reading the cat's dreams. And it is the funniest sequence ever. And Sua is like kind of loving it. I think my favorite scene is when Sua's trying to work and Young-woo just goes and sits on him. And Sua's like, could you please leave?
But also probably likes it.
But loves it. And ends up taking time off of work so that he can hang out with Young-woo as a cat. Now, there's a debate on what to call the kittens and the cat when it's time for them to keep the cats, and like the kittens have been born and they want to name them all.
Yeah.
So
this is like an important rite of passage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secretary Song, he's got his idea. He's like, all right, the kittens, they're going to be Elizabeth, Alexander, and Isabel.
I love human names for animals.
And the mom, she's going to be Victoria. if that sounds familiar, it's because those are all royal names.
Yes.
So he was like, we're naming these cats after the royal family. Young-woo also goes for human names, but his are just like general human names. Mm-hmm. So he goes for Sujin, Jihyun, Suyeon, and Dohyun. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of at a loss. They don't know what to do because they both want these names. And Suwa comes in and he's like, all right, I got it. We're going to name each one of the kittens after us. So we're going to have Song, Baek, and Yun. And the mom is going to be Kitty. And then they still can't decide. They can't agree. So each of them holds a cat treat. And they're like, okay, whichever cat treat the mother eats is who wins. Mm-hmm. And Kitty wins.
Yeah.
And I love it. It reminded me of another story that I read where the main character also rescued a mother cat and 3 kittens. Mm-hmm. And they had the best names ever because it was Blanche, Rose, Dorothy, and the mom was Sophia.
Beautiful. I love it.
I mean, you couldn't get more perfect cat names.
No.
That's just like its own cute little funny story that happens. Then, time is going on. We see that Suwa is going on a business trip and Young-woo is like back at home, just hanging out. They're talking on the phone, but not getting to see each other. And they have a little spicy moment on the phone where Young-woo kind of falls asleep at the end and Suwa's like, absolutely not. I'm coming home early. And ruins Young-woo's surprise. He was going to pick him up at the airport, take him out to eat for lunch. And again, he gets really mad and storms off. And Sua's like, okay, this is DEFCON 1. I have to grovel. And also, I was going to propose, and now I have to make it a better proposal. So his better proposal involves buying an aquarium so that they can go on a date whenever they want.
Beautiful.
Taking him to a fancy restaurant.
He must be taking notes from someone.
Would it be Yeon?
Yes.
I love it. I mean, you gotta love the obsessive male lead who's like, I'm gonna buy you everything you want.
Yeah. It's great.
So, he also owns a restaurant already. He takes him there. They go on a yacht. Secretary Song has to learn how to drive the yacht. But then he does a really, really cute thing where he takes him to a beach, which is a very important place for both of them. And it was important for Young-woo and his mom, too. His mom took him there when he was younger. And he shared those memories through dreams with Suwa. And so he takes him there and he proposes. And it's the cutest thing ever. And, like, that's pretty much the entire series. And it's the cutest. It's just fluff.
Yeah.
It's so good. I want the original story, though, because that also sounds really good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm down with you. As soon as we find it, we'll read it together.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I
literally saw it. I was like, it's fluff. It's the same creator as Semantic Error. And it just really felt like it was a nice little Christmas surprise.
It really, really
was. Nice little sprinkle.
A little sprinkle.
Well, the next day on the 20th, we did exchange gifts. So I got Cuckoo's 3, which is a manga that you got for me. I'm in love with the cover art on this one and went into it. I mean, like, I don't have any knowledge of this, didn't know that it was a thing that existed. Mm-hmm. But immediately upon turning it back to the back cover to read it, there's a goat that's nudging the barcode at the bottom. So I know I'm going to love this already.
I bought this with almost absolutely zero knowledge about it. I don't even think that I read the back, but the cover was so pretty that...
The art looks so familiar.
It's pretty unique. Also, the cover of it reminds me of The Kiss, which is a famous painting. And so I just had to get that one.
It's so beautiful. It's got the florals and everything on it. But if anyone knows who Moss Cat is, that's the artist for this one. Mm-hmm. Their art style looks so familiar to me, and I cannot put my finger on it. And I feel like I've read something.
Maybe.
That they've made. So.
Let us know.
Let me know.
I also got a manga, and it is Go For It Nakamura. It's the new cover. And I love the new cover. I feel like the original cover is perfect for you and the new cover is perfect for me.
It's very like nice and cutesy and subdued. It's very like minimalistic.
Yeah.
This new cover. Mine is like bright, obnoxious, in your face colors. And that is absolutely going to match for me. I'm so excited. I want you to read it really bad because it's adorable.
Yeah.
So
I will read it. Definitely.
Ironically, you assigned for me to read my own. So I was just sitting there the entire time as this calendar was getting built out. I was like, hee hee hee. She'll be able to read it too. Now, moving on to the 21st, we did have some reading assignments for one another.
Yes, we did.
So you assigned for me to read Flip Turn. This one is somewhat new to Leeson, but you read this on Manta before it left the Manta platform. Mm-hmm. So it's new on Leeson. However, they did like a bulk upload of the entire first season. So there's a lot on there already. It's over 50 episodes, even though it just came out like a month ago. But this is a BL sports and BDSM story. So Byung-eun works as an assistant to a really prolific actor. His name is Cha Ju-won. And Ju-won has gone on TV and he had this scripted interview with someone where he basically brags about his swimming skills and how he's really just so well versed for this new role he's taking on, how he does his own stunts. And you find out after Ju-won leaves the interview that that's a lie.
Oh my gosh.
Ju-won is like, oh my gosh, there's like this scene where I had to cuss in one of my movies, and that's totally not me. And you can see that his public persona is not quite there at all. Cha Ju-won immediately after being like, oh, I'm blushing thinking about the bad words. How could I ever say that? Goes to Byung-eun and he's like, what the fuck? That script was terrible. So Byung-eun realizes that Ju-won now needs to take swimming lessons because he talked a real big game. And the directors don't know that he doesn't swim and do his own stunts. So Ju-won is looking for a swim instructor, and Byung-eun basically doesn't know who to ask, but his best friend, who is a swim instructor.
As a former swim instructor, adults are the absolute hardest to teach.
I would imagine.
Yeah, because usually if you're an adult and you don't know how to swim, there's some fear or hesitation or bad experiences in the past. Whereas like kids are usually just learning for the first time.
Fearless.
Also, you can do fun games with kids. And usually I'll do the same things with adults, but I'll be like, hey, just so you know you're an adult, but this is still how I'm going to teach you.
Well, that does kind of bring us into how Yeonsu kind of takes on these swim instructions, because Yeonsu is a little bit hesitant until he sees all the zeros assigned to this. And then he's like, I cannot turn this down. I'm working multiple part-time jobs. So Yeonsu agrees to do all the instructor's work. But the first meeting with Ju-won, not great. Yeonsu's already in the pool and he's just kind of floating around and relaxing. And Ju-won shows up pissed because he's like, wow, how dare you not notice I walked in? And Yeonsu's staring at him immediately. And Ju-won's like, wow, no autographs. How unprofessional of you. Just an asshole move. And Yeonsu's like, I'm actually looking at you because you didn't shower before getting into the pool and you have to do that. And he's like, I showered at home. I'm getting in the pool. And they have a little bickering moment where Yeonsu's like, if you don't know how to shower, I'll help you. So you do literally see him like putting the soap on Ju-won's hair. And Ju-won being like, who does he think he is, treating me like a child? But Ju-won says that the reason he doesn't swim is because he has a fear of the pool. Yeonsu immediately is like, I don't think that that's true because we're going to go underwater together. But he opens his eyes and he's like, if you were afraid of the water, you wouldn't open your eyes. Look at you. You're already doing so great. But it's so cute to see their lessons because you see him with like the little kickboard. And I remember doing swim lessons as a kid and doing like the exact same stuff, but as a child. So then seeing it as an adult, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's universal.
It's universal. And also it's very silly to see this really arrogant actor being treated like a child. Yeonsu is like, you know what? These lessons are going pretty good. Ju-won's, picking up on it pretty great. And they've had a few at this point, but Ju-won's like, oh, shoot. I promised I was going to bring this contract over to him. And I completely forgot. At this point, Ju-won has caught a couple glances at Yeonsu, and he's not interested in him. But his interest in him kind of peaks when Ji-won goes to take the contract to Yeonsu and catches him in the showers, and he has a bunch of like strangulation looking marks on him. He's got like wrist strap marks on his wrists. And now Ji-won is like, you're a victim of domestic violence. What is going on here? Yeonsu very proudly says, nope, you have misinterpreted this. This is embarrassing for both of us, but maybe mostly you, because I actually like it. So you can quit your lessons or not, but this was consensual, so leave me alone. And Ji-won is kind of mortified. He doesn't understand at all. He literally goes home and Googles all of this because he's like, what is all of it? So he's like figuring out for the first time what a dom and sub are, what sadism and masochism is. And he's just like, there are people like this? I can't understand. So Ji-won makes, I guess, a proposal towards Yeonsu, which is he's having to figure out what relationships are like for his movie role anyways. And Yeonsu doesn't really know what a healthy relationship looks like because those marks were actually not very standard for a healthy BDSM relationship. So Ji-won's like, we should just practice having a healthy relationship together. And Yeonsu's like, if Master finds out, which I heard myself. I didn't like saying that out loud. But he doesn't know his master's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows nothing about him other than the fact that he's really abusive.
Yeah.
So Yeonsu is like, I don't think I can take you up on that. But they run into the master, as I put it in air quotes to make myself feel more comfortable. They run into the master outside of the pool. And when the master realizes that Yeonsu is putting on lessons that he didn't tell him about because he wasn't reporting everything he does to the guy, he like seriously beats him. Like his face is bruised and battered and everything else. And Ji-won notices this when they go to their next lesson. And he's like, what happened? You're late. And he immediately just starts crying after seeing Yeonsu's face. And so Yeonsu and Ji-won kind of have a little bit of a conversation where Yeonsu's like, maybe it's not such a bad idea if we just test out what a healthy relationship looks like for practice purposes. So that's where I've left off on the story. It's pretty early on. I'd say I'm like maybe 10 episodes in.
Yeah.
I love it so far. I love how Ji-won's an asshole and how immediately he crumbled. And I'm hoping that he just continues to crumble into just like a little mush because I love seeing that happen.
Yeah. I love this one so much. And when I started reading this on Manta, one thing I was like picked up on right away, because we've read a lot of BDSM stories, is it is a bad relationship that he's in. Like, it is not a healthy dynamic.
Yeah.
He's not a dom. He is abusive, you know? And so, but they deal with that throughout the series, which is part of the reason why I was like, oh, you're going to love this one, because it's taking a bad situation and how do I get out of this? How do I deal with it? What does that look like for my future relationships? And I just love this one so much. I'm so glad that you're reading it.
It's so good. I love it. And honestly, like, I'm always here for proper BDSM representation. This one doesn't feel, though, like it's glorifying an improper relationship, though.
Yeah.
Like, it very much.
Yeah, it's saying, like, this is wrong.
This is wrong. This is not normal. It's showing those warning bells.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like I'm already getting the glimmer of he is going to find a happy and healthy place, and that he's going to be working through that while also helping Ji-won to, you know, work through things himself.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm continuing this one for sure. And I love it.
Yeah, I was so excited when it came to Leeson. Because I read this on Manta. There were 73 episodes out at that time, and it was discontinued. So I kind of debated whether or not I should read it at all, because when I started reading it on Manta, it was discontinued. But I had to because of the subject of BDSM and swimming. I was like, when else am I going to get such a perfect pairing?
I know. I mean, honestly, probably few and far between opportunities. But no, I'm so happy about this one. Even if it did get discontinued, I'm loving what I've read so far. It would just break my heart. Yeah. So I hope that doesn't happen.
I did feel like on Manta, where it left off, it wasn't complete, but it was a good stopping point where I didn't feel like disappointed.
That you read it.
That I read it. Yeah, like I was still super happy with it.
No My Dear Maid situation.
No.
Cool.
Not at all.
Well, good for you.
Okay, so my assignment was My Beloved Supper. I picked this one up solely because of the beautiful, beautiful man on the cover and it's vampires.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even think he's a man. I think he's a vampire.
He is. He's a beautiful, beautiful vampire. So this is a single volume manga. It's a vampire food manga. And I made a note to myself that this is just a love letter to food. And I appreciate that.
Now I want to read it. You could tell me nothing else. We could just move forward and I'd be like, no, I need to know this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one is about Yoru, and he lives at a boarding house owned by Sonoe. Mm-hmm. And Sonoe is an elderly woman. She cooks for everyone who lives in this boarding house. And as Yoru is leaving, she's saying, hey, by the way, we're having beef stew tonight. And he's like, I can't come. And you very quickly find out that he's a vampire. Mm-hmm. So he can't eat food. However, you see him reminiscing on his past, where he's been looking at all of these people eating food throughout his entire vampire life. And it does appear to be like vampires do grow, because in his flashbacks, he's a younger mm-hmm. boy. And now he's an adult office worker. Okay. So it doesn't like explain,
maybe like time slow.
Yeah, probably a time slow thing. But he just wants to eat. He sees all of these people eating and he's just, completely obsessed with how happy people look. And he does discover that if he feeds and has fresh blood mm-hmm. in his system, then he is able to eat.
Okay.
He's also working with a guy from the police who's like a chief, and he gives him tips of like, hey, there's this bad guy. I need you to go like drink his blood and kill him. Because we don't have enough proof to like get him arrested, so I need you to take care of it.
But here's the thing. Sometimes I'm like, if you don't have enough proof, does that mean that they're guilty?
Well, he is in the process of trafficking women when we meet him, and he's talking about abusing women, and he runs an illegal casino. So honestly, I don't know how they don't have enough proof, because it seems like they should.
You know what could happen, like most criminals, is you could catch them for tax evasion.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure
happens for a lot of them.
Yeah. So that doesn't happen in this case, though. They just send Yoru out to take care of the problem, and he does, and then he goes back and he enjoys this beef stew. It kind of starts spiraling from here. At first, he's like, no, I don't want to do this. But then he starts seeking out the police chief and being like, do you got anyone else?
Got any loose blood?
And you see, like, he starts contemplating, like, vigilante stuff where he sees a guy who is harassing a woman. And he's like, all right, I don't have police permission, but he is harassing her, so I could just drink his blood and then go eat this miso soup.
Oh my God, yum. I get it. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I get it.
Yeah. And he doesn't do it either, but he does think about it.
And there's no harm in that.
No harm at all. So there's really, like, not a ton of story to this. There is a fun, like, what I would consider a little plot twist that I'm not going to tell you about because I know you do want to read this one. So I'm not going to tell you about that, but it's just so much fun. It is really just about the food. Like, it is about this single vampire and what he needs to do to eat.
And you know what? I'm here for it.
I support that.
Sign me up.
Also, he's beautiful. Like, in every panel, his little fangs. When he's got blood dripping down him from his meal. It's great.
It's great.
Love it.
I am so here for it. And now I know that I do genuinely need this one.
Yeah, you do.
There we go. What a solution. All right. So moving on to the 22nd, Alex and I did do another gift exchange. I got the most adorable keychain ever. It is literally already hanging up on my display because I love it so much. But it is Heesung from Paws and Claws. And it's like right when he gets taken to Chi Young's estate as a puppy. And he's trying to pretend that he's, you know, not a human.
Just a normal puppy.
Just normal puppy. And he's got like his leg bandaged and everyone's taking care of him. And Chi Young has literally ordered like these big macho bodyguards, like, take care of my puppy. So he is like completely pampered. And it is just a cute little panel of little puppy Heesung just living the dream.
I saw that and I was like, this is perfect.
I love this one. I don't have very much merch from like manhwa and manga in general, but I now have almost as much merch for Paws and Claws as I do for Jujutsu Kaisen, and that says a lot.
That does. I received a Hades and Persephone set of pins. It's like kind of the silhouette, like where they're looking sideways, they're staring at each other. The most beautiful set of pins I think I've ever seen ever. They're already on my pin board, which I also received earlier this month in the Advent. And I am definitely going to become a pin hoarder now. That is just going to be my new personality.
You now have a place to put them. It's perfect. Well, I'm so happy. I literally saw them and they had like these custom gold frames, each with their own little details for Hades and for Persephone.
Yeah.
They were beautiful.
Beautiful. Stunning.
Stunning. And who would I possibly think of other than Alex? So for the 23rd, we are at our last reading assignment for the Advent calendar. And I'm really glad that I was able to bring it back from that really sad place we were at the beginning, because this one is great. And unfortunately, I know you're going to make it sad again.
I am. I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, I got to bring it down after this.
Oh, no. Well, I am talking about Rooming with My Two Lovers. This is a single volume manhwa. It was written by Anji Sena and published by Tokyo Pop. This one is just such a quick and fun read. The entire time I was like, love this. This is wonderful. I feel like it just ticked off so many boxes for me on like what I'm looking for in just an adorable, fluffy throuple romance. So this story follows Atsushi. He is extremely indecisive, and that is to put it lightly. This man has had opportunities upon opportunities pass him by because he can't make up his mind. We're not just talking like the me not being able to decide food kind of indecisive. I'm talking he had multiple record deals offered to him, and he was so indecisive that he let them all time out and he lost the record deals for him and his band. It is severely impacting his life.
Yeah.
And his bandmates, who are also his roommates, they're like, we can't do this anymore. We cannot hang out with you in this capacity. We can't keep living with you. This is impacting our life now, and you need to get your shit together. So they leave. He's like, wow, now my band is broken up. I have, like, no roommates. I can't live by myself. I can't afford it. What am I going to do? So like any sane person, he goes to his hairdresser, and he's like, do me up. Don't know what I want. Just fuck my hair up. Because he can't even decide what he wants done to his hair. He just knows that he's feeling extremely chaotic.
Oh my gosh.
And fortunately for him, his hairdresser is very kind. And he goes, nope, we're going to talk first. You need to get something out before you make a decision on your hair. So he lets him rant. And ultimately his hairdresser, Shiki, goes, okay, I'll give you a haircut. That's not the problem, but I'm not making a huge drastic change where you're not going to feel like yourself. You'll just feel like a cleaned up version of yourself. And it's a good place to start. So Shiki gives Atsushi a haircut. Atsushi looks beautiful. And Atsushi's like, thank you so much for caring about me. Now that's one less problem for me to deal with because now I have to find roommates and everything else. And Shiki actually has an opportunity that could help him out because Shiki has moved in with his best friend and they have room in their condo. So he's like, if you're looking for roommates, you could just come and live with us in this condo and then you're not by yourself. So just consider it. And Atsushi, being the indecisive person he is, didn't take him up on the offer right away. He waited a minute and then ultimately decides that he doesn't have any other options. So Atsushi goes to do a tour of the condo. And as Atsushi is there, he realizes that the person who owns this condo is his most recent ex-boyfriend.
Very, very good situation.
Great. It's going swimmingly. The condo is beautiful. So Atsushi is confused because his boyfriend Enraku was not rich when they were dating each other. Mm-hmm. How did he get this place? He doesn't know.
He's more decisive.
Probably. I think most anyone is. But he doesn't want to let on to Shiki that this is his ex-boyfriend who's living in the house. Even when Enraku gets home, they both just play it off like they don't know each other. Like, Enraku goes, I used to know someone with that name, Atsushi. That's beautiful. And Atsushi's like, thanks. Your house is gorgeous. This, however, doesn't last very long. As soon as Shiki steps out of the house for a while, Enraku does kind of like get really close to Atsushi. He goes, you never responded to my texts or calls. Where have you been? Atsushi's a little confused. Like, did Shiki put me up to this knowing that Enraku and I have been together before? Like, did Enraku request that I come to live with them? Is this super awkward? And you start to see that the reason Atsushi and Enraku didn't stay together is because Enraku was not very vocal about his feelings. And since he wasn't very communicative, and because he asked if they should bring another person into the bedroom, Atsushi felt that that was just Enraku saying he's not interested in this relationship continuing further. Mm-hmm. And so he cut it off. That was like one decision he actually made where he was like, I can't do that to myself. So Enraku, you see, has this internal turmoil of trying to express that he really still likes Atsushi, that it was never to like say that he didn't value their relationship. And he's acknowledging that he probably should have been more vocal about how much he wanted Atsushi to stay. But by the time he was willing to be vocal, Atsushi was gone. Mm-hmm. So Atsushi's, trying to kind of process that. He's like, I did really like Enraku. I just thought he wasn't into it. If he was into it, should we try again? And then he goes, no, I need a place to stay. We need to keep this completely platonic. And Shiki comes home and sees them in a somewhat compromising, very close position. And Shiki's like, what the hell is this? I don't like this. And Atsushi goes, it's what you think. We've been together before. This is my ex-boyfriend. And Shiki goes, that's awkward because I invited you here because I like you. So that's crazy. And so Atsushi immediately is overcome with, oh no, Enraku likes me. Shiki likes me. Am I going to have to make a choice? So at first he goes, my choice is I'm not choosing anybody. But Enraku and Shiki are now like love rivals. They've realized that they both like the same person. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, I think we're just going to all participate in some group activities and figure out who you like more. So basically the rest of the story is Atsushi trying to figure out who he likes better. And the other two guys trying to win over Atsushi's feelings. And I mean, spoiler alert, they end up being a throuple in the end.
Yeah.
I love them.
That is how I want all love triangles to end.
It is the perfect way to end it. I don't want to give spoilers because it is a quick one to read and I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
So maybe eventually you'll pick it up. But I had a hell of a time finding this one in print. So I'm glad you assigned it to me because it made it feel worthwhile that I literally fought to find this on a sale in like 7 different platforms.
So exciting. I thought we found this one in the wild.
We did.
Okay.
We found it in Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
But I had looked everywhere. It was like sold out on Tokyo Pop.
Oh.
It was sold out everywhere.
Yeah. Well, then lucky us.
Lucky us. And you know what? Truly lucky me because I got to read this story. So good.
So exciting. I am unfortunately going to bring it back down again.
Yeah.
With my last one, which is A Home Far Away. This is a single volume manga. It is a traumatic story, and trigger warnings just for the whole thing. It deals with abuse. It has one of the main characters talking about being abused as a child, and it's just kind of tough to read at points, but it is so good. I loved this one. This one is about Alan and Hayden, and they are both young men. Alan is 17. Hayden is a little bit older. It's never said exactly what age he is, but you know that he is above 18.
Yeah.
So they meet at the beginning. Alan is kind of hiding behind a restaurant, and he's just sitting down. Hayden comes over and starts talking to him, and they start to get to know each other pretty quickly. Alan very quickly opens up about how he kind of has a rough home life because his parents are very religious, and not the religious that allows you to, be open about who you are or enjoy life at all, really. Mm-hmm. It's you are the cause of your problems, and he has a disease where I don't know what it's called. I know it's an actual one, but it's where when you bleed, it doesn't stop bleeding. Mm-hmm. And they say that it's his fault because he's
like a penance.
Yeah, it's a penance for him. And so his parents are just kind of abusive in that way, just verbally. His dad is a little bit physically abusive to him. It's just not a good situation.
Yeah.
And Hayden has his own problems with his family. He ended up running away from home because his father was abusive to his mother and him when he was younger, to the point where his mom kind of takes things into her own hands and ends up poisoning the dad and killing him. And he lives kind of on his own at this point because the mom is so guilt-ridden about what she's done that she ends up kind of poisoning herself too, but with drugs and alcohol. And so he's just on his own, starts to become a drifter, moving from town to town.
Yeah.
He's like, while I'm here, we can be friends. So they get close pretty quickly, and they're just hanging out all over the town. And eventually it comes to a point where Hayden's like, it's time for me to go. I need to leave. And he asks Alan to come with him. And he is like, I'm going to be outside of the restaurant tonight. Come with me. Alan's still 17, so technically he's still a minor, and this is running away.
Yeah.
So he does go, and he ends up going with Hayden, and they end up leaving town. And very quickly, a bulletin is put out that there's a missing kid. Mm-hmm. And so Hayden is accused at this point of being a kidnapper. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of on the run, but no one's really looking for them at this point. So the rest of the story just follows them going through different hardships, traveling from town to town, trying to make money however they can. Hayden ends up being with a woman to make money because he saw that's how his mom made money. And Alan ends up making friends with a sex worker, and then she is sees him as her son. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there as well. Alan has to deal with his trauma with religion because he was abused by a priest. And so he's really struggling with how he feels about the church and about that, but he always feels called to go back. Mm-hmm. And Hayden is struggling with did I take him away? Does he want to be here or not? So at first they're just friends, but they do end up growing to have an intimate relationship after they've been together for a while. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil this for anyone because it is just heartbreaking. It is so good though. The ending I really did not see coming. I knew that it was going to happen, but I kept being no, it's not.
I feel like I read this ending and I found myself sitting in silence to process it afterwards. After the book was closed, I was like, that was such a journey, and it really didn't take me in the way that I thought it was going to.
Yeah. I knew.
It was beautifully tragic.
I knew when they were on the run, I knew what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But, like, I didn't want it to. I was like, no, we can go somewhere else with this.
I know.
Have you seen The Badlands?
No.
Okay. This is an old movie from the 70s with Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek.
Okay.
And this reminds me of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It has just some similar themes with like the hit and run and being on the run. And one is being seen as the kidnapper and one is being seen as being kidnapped. Mm-hmm. When in reality, they've gone together.
Yeah.
But I loved this one. It is just so beautiful and so tragic. And I'm so happy I read it.
It's just heartbreaking.
The characters are just beautiful. And it's so sad.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
Oh my gosh. Fortunately for us, to pick the mood back up, we do get to end our advent calendar on the gifts we exchanged for today. So today, on Christmas Eve, Alex and I had gifted each other some beautiful gifts.
Yes, we did.
Mine is a Gojo and Gato shadow box art frame. And I'm still, like, speechless from this. You're going to have to give me, like, 20 to 30 business days.
Honestly, I don't know how I'm ever going to top myself again. Because I feel like this is just the best gift that I have ever given you in our 13 years of friendship.
It's hard to top, honestly. And you know what? Like, maybe we just end here.
It's been great.
It's been a great run. No, this is truly perfect. I had no idea. Like, you handed it to me. It's obviously not lit up when it's not plugged in. And then we literally had to do, like, a presentation to introduce me to it of, like, turning off the lights and then, like, plugging it in and turning it on with the little remote. You can change the coloring on it. It's gorgeous.
This made me happy too when I got it, and I was like, okay, she's gonna love it when she opens it, and it's Gojo. And so I had to watch her face then, and then I was like, all right, now we gotta set it up. I'm like setting it up. I'm like, all right, I gotta watch her face again.
And then I basically cried. So
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty perfect. I love it. I love it so much. I can't even really put it into words. I feel like I've lost all of the words that would be coming out of my mouth. But it's so perfect.
I'm so glad you love it.
It's so good.
You also got me the most perfect gift. I feel like it's beautiful, one of a kind. No one will ever have the most beautiful shoes that I now own. It is a pair of boots, combat boots, but they have Persephone's face on them. They're red and kind of a like off-white pomegranates. Just the most beautiful boots, but also like it's an ass-kicking style of boot, which I love. Mm-hmm. I am going to wear these everywhere. I can tell already. Not right now because it's snowing and I don't want to ruin them.
That's fair, yeah.
I do have treatment that I could put on top of them, which I probably will.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to wear them, like, especially in the spring. You will be seeing me rocking these every single day.
I'm so happy.
They're so pretty.
Yay.
I love them so much. We did so good.
We did so good. Look at us. I will say, if any of you are curious about what any of the gifts were that we exchanged, I know that it's hard to describe it over the podcast. We do have posts on our socials, so you can go look back at everything that was exchanged throughout the Advent calendar, as well as to get a bit more information on the different reading assignments that we had as well. But we are wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. And I would just like to say that in the honor of the season of giving, Alex and I, for the third year in a row, will be doing a week-long of releases between Christmas and New Year's. So, very excited to be talking with you all every single day leading up to 2026. And we're looking forward to talking to you all tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.